Okay, now I'd like to show you an SQL injection in a different file, in a different page, and I'll show you a few different things that you can do to exploit that vulnerability. So the first thing, I'm going to go to the login page, which is in here, user info. So the first time we went to the login page from there, this time we went to the user info page. So this page will show you the information about the user, provided you give the username and password. So I'm gonna do Zaid, and I'm gonna put my password 12345 6, and it'll show my details, username and password, and my signature is AAA. So the statement that's being executed here is similar to what was being executed when you log in. So it's selecting star from accounts, where username is what you put in the user field, and password is what you put in the password field. So what we're going to do now is we're going to see a different way of exploiting this kind of vulnerability. In the previous video, we were doing it using a post text box. So whatever you put in the text box was being posted using a post method to the web application. Now, these vulnerabilities can exist into GET. And what I mean by GET is when you do a GET, when something is sent as GET, you will see it here in the URL. So if you look at the URL here, you see it's being sent as the username Zaid and password 123456. So let me just copy this URL here, and we'll start playing with it from the URL instead of doing it on the web page. I just want to show you a different example, because in many places there might not even be text boxes. For example, it could be something like news and news.php. So we can see here, for example, in this example, it's index.php. And in your pen testing, you might see something like news.php. And for example, ID is equal to 2. And then you can try to inject stuff in there. So we're having an example here where we're going to be injecting things into the username field, which is this field. And we're going to be injecting stuff in here. So anytime when you're doing your pen test, anytime you see parameters like this, you should try to inject them. Anytime you see something.php and then you have a parameter equals something, then always try to inject stuff in there and see if it works for you. So we also seen a way of discovering the injection, and that was using the quotation mark and using the AND. So we do a false AND and a true AND 1 is equal to 1, and then AND 1 is equal to 2. And if the server is executing what we want, then we're going to know that there's an SQL injection. I'm going to show you another way of discovering these exploits, and it's using the order by. As the name suggests, the order by statement is used to order the results that we get on the screen based on a specific column. So our injection is going to be like this. So I'm going to do order by 1. So this, if the injection exists, this should work, because in each select statement there should be at least one column is being selected. Therefore, when we say order by 1, we're saying I want to order the results based on the first column. Therefore, this should always be acceptable by the database and return a true or something that we expect. We also need to add the comment in here and execute this code. So it's exactly like before. So when we're doing this, basically, this is our URL, and what's going to happen on the database, so this is the code that's being executed on the database, it's going to look like this. So it's going to be select star from accounts where username is equal to Zaid, and note how this is closing the quote, and we're going to do an order by 1, and there should be this code here for the end, and this comment will tell the SQL interpreter that to ignore anything that comes in after it, so all of this is going to be ignored. So I'm copying this. So you can actually paste this injection for Zaid order by 1 into the name right here, and that's going to work. But again, I just want to show you a different way of doing it by injecting it through the browser. Another thing that I want you to note is when you're injecting stuff into the browser, the code should be encoded. So for example, this sign, usually when you put it on the URL, it should be written as %23. Spaces, for example, get converted to %20, and %23 is the comment that we're using. So I'm going to copy that and replace my comment sign with it. Now you can Google HTTP encoder and you'll see online, there's online tools that will just convert this for you. For me now, I know that the hashtag can be converted to %23, so that's why I'm using it there. And I'm gonna hit enter. And as you can see now, we're seeing something that's acceptable. Nothing wrong, and then it's showing me the information about Zaid 123456 and showing me the signature. So it is ignoring the password, so the injection worked, and it's ordering by one, so it's not showing me anything wrong. Let's try to make this number one a very large number. So I'm putting 10,000 or 100,000 now. So what we're saying right now is I want you to order the results that will be returned by the current select statement based on column 100,000. Now chances are there aren't 100,000 columns used in this select statement, and therefore this should return an error. So when I execute this, you'll see that there's an error. And the error is in the order clause, and it's telling us that there is an unknown column for 100,000. And this is great because now we know that the database is executing what we want. So when we told it to order the results based on the first column, it showed us results. So it followed what we told it. And then when we told it to order the results based on a column that does not exist, it gave us an error. So it's obviously vulnerable to SQL injections.